This was a two-person endeavor between me and my good friend and brother and so many other things, Danny Badorine.
Officially, I engineered the album. I mixed the album, of course, with Jason there, and us collaborating on the mix. I definitely mastered the album. Right? Jason played all of the instruments. 9 years together now we've been doing musical projects. So our flow was seamless. The communication was seamless, not even an issue. So we didn't have to go through any growing pains to get this done. We walked in and it happened.
So I have to say that neither of us really knew what to expect when we started recording this. And we came into this thinking that I was going to just play everything live, I was going to do all this and it would be a live feel. And as we started moving along, we realized like it'd be better sounding to separate the instruments and actually to do overdubs. And so this album is a lot of me improvising with myself on previously recorded tracks.
A lot of the time I was just sitting there as it was recording and listening and thinking, wow, that's amazing, that already sounds good, you know? So it was making my job easy, I guess. The magic just happened.
The magic started to flow the first few times we listened to all the tracks together and realized that we were creating something so much more than we had originally intended. Something that was really alive. It felt like its own consciousness almost, its own entity was breathing, it was moving. And so a lot of the process for me as the performer was just getting out of the way.
My experience of it was really interesting because a lot of the time it was just happening in front of me, and when you're in the moment, you don't always know how magical it is. But then when you go back, you realize that now when I listen to it, and in fact have done yoga to it, I realize how magical it is. I really encourage people to understand that this album, the power of what's going on in it, it's not just instrumentation thrown together, it's not just a series of songs. This album was made with intention of healing. We were talking about that in the process. We were grounding. Jason was meditating for it.
So healing to me is a way of making connections with myself deeply, with others deeply, to get in touch with what's bothering me, to get in touch with what I need to release, to get in touch with what I need to call in. And because sound and rhythm has to do with vibration, it's very easy for me to get in touch with myself when I feel these sounds and these vibrations moving. I can see kind of what fits and what doesn't, and I'm able to approach the sound as sort of like a prescriptive rhythm, prescriptive sonic medicine. To use it with the intention of healing is what really creates the healing.
Music is a healing art form, and that it is powerful in the sense that we are transforming lives through vibration of what we're doing.
And of course sound operates differently for everyone and affects us all differently based on our past experiences and all of this. But to have the intention of healing to begin with opens us up.
I've done a lot of yoga, and I am extremely picky about music. We need better music in the classes, and I want to facilitate more healing. How do we take yoga to the next level with the music? How does the music not just become a background piece or something to sort of fill space? How does it become part of the healing facilitation for the yoga students?
When we were listening to some parts, there were at times where we had the thought, wondering if this was too intense, actually, for yoga. And sitting with it and listening to it, we understood that it was perfect. And what I mean by that is, during yoga and body work and any kind of transformational practice, there are often moments of chaos. There are moments, I'm not saying that the album is chaotic, but there are moments of being pushed slightly beyond perhaps where we're comfortable. And that's a process of healing. That's a process of release. That's a process of getting in touch with what needs to be understood. And so with that, the album, even though it comes into these intense places, it's all as a listener, I feel like I'm always held in safety. So there's no fear in this intensity. It's more of an intensity towards healing. A lot of the times I was visualizing myself in a yoga class. So putting myself there allowed me to feel the space of the movement. And again, I had the general idea, the theme of a yoga class, and that aspect of flow, and that aspect of kind of coming in, maybe needing to release what's in the outside world, kind of active here. With that, I wanted some kind of music when people are arriving, which is the idea behind the walk-in track. It's just a single tongue drum instrument, so it can be played as people arrive to get here. And then it moves into when we start beginning class. Gently slow, building, coming to a crescendo, and then having time at the end to really integrate what happened. And so this general idea was what formed the flow of the album overall.
There were no reverbs, no delays, no crazy effects on this album. So when you listen to it and you start to hear stuff moving left and right, that's all natural. That's all what he was doing in the room. There's no artificial effects. It is the most acoustic, most natural album that I've ever been a part of. And the power of it is that we still accomplished incredible mood, incredible movement, incredible dynamics without putting a bunch of artificial effects on it.
Yeah. The instrumentation, I intentionally used only acoustic instruments, and particularly acoustic instruments that come from various world traditions. All of this has a particular wisdom to me through the sound and what it creates. And so I wanted to really bring that to this recording and not use any synthetic sounds, not use any electronic sounds, and offer more of a natural soundscape to this work.
I definitely gave him feedback on that, though. I would say 99% of the time we were on the same page. We were hearing the same thing, which really made it feel natural and flowing. And that's how we knew it was right, because we would know almost immediately if he was maybe auditioning a certain drum for a part. We would both go, oh, no, that's not it. And then when he would get the right one out, we would both go, oh yeah, that's the one. Put that on there. All right, record, go. Hit it.
So I'm working on completing my dissertation at the California Institute of Integral Studies. And I'm in the East-West Psychology program looking at how various cultures, and particularly in cross-cultural spiritual and healing and wisdom traditions, how they use sound and rhythm as a fundamental aspect of their practice to produce various states of awareness, to communicate with each other in nonverbal ways, to call in different energies or dispel different energies. All these ways tapping into nature and our surrounds with the buzzing of insects, the cycles of the sun and the moon, the orbits of planets, the running of water. When communities come together, there's some sort of spontaneous ritual that happens because we're in community. We're acting together, and there's this aspect of entrainment, which is when one moving rhythm matches another moving rhythm. It's this harmony of rhythm. When those communities come together, they form something greater. And with that power, tapping into that is what the intention was behind the album, to create this journey where all parts were entrained, but still able to get their individual expressions to create a safe space for wisdom and growth and healing to occur.
To get the sound from what's going on in the room through a microphone, through a console, into zeros and ones on your computer, back out into the analog world so the listener can experience what you're experiencing while sitting next to it. I mean, that's a challenge. Challenge that I live for. That's fun. It's because we're dealing with instruments that from an engineering standpoint, there's no standard on how to place microphones or how to get the proper sound with these. So I had to draw on, well, what does my gut tell me? Because Jason has this melody and he's already playing it, so I better get the microphones in the right spot before the energy moves on to something else, because the universe is offering something. It needed to happen now because the magic is here now and the flow is here. So the challenge was to use my best judgment and to place the microphones where they needed to be, to get the gain right and to hit record, and to go with that decision and to stand behind it and then make it happen in the mix.
What is next? Such an existential question. What is next? Well, for the music and this project, A Journey of Sound and Rhythm, this album was Volume 1, and we're about to record Volume 2. The idea is to continue this recording project and have multiple CDs for multiple purposes, not just focused on yoga, but also to start doing works that are intended for things like ceremonies, things like dance, ecstatic dance, and just to see what we hear back from you, because we would love to collaborate with you. If you need a particular sound, if you need a particular energy with your work, with your events, with what you're doing in this world, we would love to help bring that to fruition through sound. And so we're asking for feedback, we're asking for further collaborations, and it's an open door.
I hope to just get back in that studio and to make some more music and to laugh. I hope to take more yoga classes to music that I was a part of, which coincidentally I've had an experience of touring on the road and showing up and taking a class in Dallas, Texas. The music being played was another CD that I had worked on and mixed, and it was a really amazing moment for me, because I'm going, wow, this is something that I had a lot to do with. And here I am, now it's facilitating my own healing, and so that's really magical and powerful, and for me that's why I work in the music business. So I hope to continue doing what's going on and to live the way that I want to and to be doing what I'm doing.
This album is what I feel as my best work so far that I have released, because it touches so deeply who I am as an individual and what I am intending and wishing to cultivate in the world and bring. And so I thank you so much for listening and being able to take this journey with us. I mean, it's incredible that we're able to do this. Two guys, good friends, who have this idea, have access to the studio, which the studio is a different story, a lot of fun things there. But to be able to have this opportunity, create this CD and offer it into the world is just magical. And to be able to share this with all of you is a blessing. So may you enjoy it as much as we did creating it.